Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Gunkins, the Joys, the Key out and Moni Counters. Welcome to another episode of Arnold Holiday News. The only news you'll ever need because, well, you have no other choice. We got a lot to go over today in Galaxy of Heroes. We have the brand new B-Wing. Couldn't get around to it last night. Boy, oh boy, what a crazy busy week it's gonna be. Drogon's the pilot. Also, speaking of Drogon, if you already have Drogon, they're doing additive drops that can give you things like Zeta. Okay, CG, we're getting back to what additive drops are supposed to be. I'd like to see that. We also got a couple of things that we're going to discuss with today's updates, such as new farmable units, accelerated drops, and I also, before we get going, want to thank you guys again. Today is character reveal number 2 for my game that I'm working on here. Second character being revealed today, summoned by the Fracture. Oshiru. And I can say this is the exact reason why I want to start you guys on this journey from as early as possible, because your guys' feedback is going to craft how these characters look moving forward. So this was like the original founding image when I was first coming up with this character here. You can see what he originally looked like. And I'm like, we gotta chop the ears off. And this is something that's gonna be, I need your help with, right? Because we're gonna be crafting a new world, and it's not just like, here's a picture of Darth Vader and Iron Man, just make it. I'm building a brand new world from scratch, and your feedback is incredibly important as we move closer to things like eventually the 3D modeling that we're doing here. Some people are saying, it looks AI generated because of the mask. I want to make something entirely clear right here, right now. I am not putting a massive amount of money to start the fire for this game that I hope can grow beyond just this first game to make AI generated stuff. I want to make this entirely clear. I'm not putting my money and reputation on to put out AI stuff for this game. I'm telling you this right here, right now, but it goes to show how much a character changes, especially for a brand new world from scratch, where this is like the first founding image. This was the first sketch, and I was like, the mask is going through a lot of changes. Here are some other alternative sketches for this character as well. And this is what we're going to talk about on the announcement Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern on my channel. How you guys, especially when we do the Kickstarter and can try to fill out the pipeline for additional characters and maps, you guys can literally be like, I like this one, I like this one, I like this one. This is what I'm saying. This is going to be a community first studio. So I'm really excited to see you guys kind of share your thoughts. And actually, while I'm here, this was the first kind of like official 2D like developer character concept art here, as you can see here. I'll go away for a second, but yeah, you can see, even though, even some things are changing with the mask, even at this point, and this is kind of closer to what a 3D render is going to look like, a lot different. This is kind of closer to the art style that we're going to be hitting here. So again, people, please keep sharing your feedback. And if you say AI generated slop, I'm telling you now, it's not AI generated. Tell me what you think feels AI generated. What don't you like specifically? That's the feedback that can make this game as best as possible for the first indie startup that I'm doing here. So thank you guys again for all the feedback. Can't wait to fine tune all these characters, and hey, maybe even more down the road as we're going to discuss. But let's talk about this road for Galaxy of Heroes. A break from Relic Delta stuff, they're pushing forward with it. Basically, in their mind, it's their way or the highway, which means the game's got to die if we don't do Relic Delta. But hey, this is cool. This B-Wing, it's a home one lifter. But it seems a bit odd. We're lifting the home one, but in a very limited fleet meta. I don't know if we're going to see this be highly utilized, as we're going to discuss, unless, especially with all these rebel ships, maybe they're laying the groundwork for Red 5. Again, let your imaginations go wild. It just feels a bit off. Maybe a fleet arena expansion, maybe leading up to maybe some sort of Red 5 legendary. How is Red 5 not in the game? I don't know. Anyways, kit reveal, B-Wings and fries and chips. So, light side attacker, rebel, and as it says straight out the get-go, lifting the home one's rebel fleet to greater heights. The B-Wing is most compatible with the fully non-scoundrel rebel fleet, i.e., well, mostly the home one, right? They don't want you using it with Millennium Falcon, right? A B-Wing makes greater use of home one strengths by reducing the capital ship's cooldowns. Okay. It feels like there's more to come. It's just like, what am I going to use this for? To beat Malevolence a bit more? It's like, I don't know if I really need that at the moment. But, maybe this is good for like newer accounts that might not have like Negotiator, and home one you get pretty easily potentially. I don't know. I really want to see where they're going to take this from here. Create more chance for rebels to deal devastating amount of damage under home one's master plan ability. And then we're also going to have a new effect, Attitude Sneak ability, band together, which allows the captain to reinforce B-Wing immediately at the start of the battle. Okay. Originally, ships, once upon a time, it was 5v5, and then they slimmed it down to 3v3 with a bunch of reinforcements. So this is going to turn into a 4v3 right away. Okay, all right. So let's just get to this here. How do we unlock it? It's going to be a marquee event starting again next week, very similar to Rogue One. I don't know if that means we're getting rid of fleet chases, or, you know, what do they call them? Chase events, where you spam a ton of energy and you basically kind of like GL tickets, right? You get tickets with it or shards of the character. So I'm not sure if they're moving away from that. It seems like they're trying to uniform their model for pumping out new characters. Like all our marquees at this point, the event will give out rewards daily, so make sure you keep coming back and playing it daily. So who's the pilot? Since Harrison Hill is not available, Captain Drogan was qualified on the B-Wing. I'm a fan of this. You know, some people are like, oh, I hope it's a pilotless ship. The problem with pilotless ships in this game, especially when Steve just talked about scalability, pilotless ships kind of don't scale at the times, right? They have to go back in, tweak stats intentionally, or do something else with it. Drogan, a lot of people have Drogan up and running, especially if you're chasing Galactic Legend Leia. So I'm a fan of this, better than just like, I don't know, picking Hoth Rebel Soldier, right? Not even the Scout, right? This is nice. I like this. So I'm a fan of that. And here's what they say here. Where does this ship and fleet stand in the meta now? B-Wing under Home 1. Starting in reserves is an extremely potent upgrade to the fleet. Save for the big three executive for Funny Leviathan, the new Home 1 B-Wing fleet should be performing exceptionally well against fleets of equal investment. Does that mean Negotiator Malevolence? I feel like Negotiator Malevolence require a bit more investment than this. That's where I'm a bit confused. Maybe Rogue One finalizer. So, especially when Siege is very concerned about endgame, I can't imagine that their intentions to make a fleet that's meant to be competitive with Radis, finalizer, even Malevolence, Negotiator. But it's very minimum. You know, even if that is their intention, you know, there are people that start off with an Akbar fleet. It doesn't do much until you get Falcon. This might be a good intermediary, you know, temporary fill, I suppose, here. So, let's get to the basic ability. Giro R9X Heavy Laser Cannons deal physical damage to target enemy with a 20% chance to target lock them for 1 turn. If the allied capital ship is home 1, this is very much like Rogue One. We're over-conditionalizing to make sure it doesn't have fun out there in the playground. And then if the allied capital ship is yet again home 1, Rebel B-Wing gains offense up for 1 turn. And you can inflict evasion down to target enemy for 1 turn. Let's keep moving on, though. We have the Blockade Buster, a cooldown of 3. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict them with accuracy down and defense down for 2 turns. Rebel B-Wing dispels all debuffs on itself and gains protection up. Okay. And if, yet again, the capital ship is home 1, call a random ally with defense up to assist, dealing 50% less damage. And then you grant the assisting ally critical damage up for 1 turn. Now, they're showing the Y-Wing here. I mean, I don't know if Y-Wing is going to move away from Profundity onto this, but hey, if you don't have Profundity, I guess maybe the way they're trying to set this is it's kind of like your holder fleet until you get a hold of Profundity. Feels like it just feels off at time. Like, I get if they wanted to do this before Profundity came out, cool. Just, again, kind of weird with all this, but check this out, though. If you have target lock, daze all enemies at target lock for 1 turn. Cool. Doesn't say can't be evaded or resisted, so I'm assuming it still can be evaded or resisted. And then we have special 2, the composite beam laser, cooldown of 5. Deal physical damage to all enemies, and Rebel B-Wing gains critical damage up for 2 turns. And if the allied capital ship is home 1, inflict evasion down on all enemies for 1 turn. And if target enemy is already inflicted evasion down, the ability block them for 1 turn instead and deal 100% bonus damage. This ability starts on a cooldown as well, and if the allied capital ship is home 1, the cooldown this ability is reduced to 1 at the start of battle. They're really playing with all these cooldown reductions lately. Rogue One's got a ton of it, helps out Profundity. Well, I guess not according to their plans, beat Leviathan again, but you know, what am I to say about that? So they're really liking this. So again, spamming your abilities as much as possible, because I do feel like, yeah, the home 1, like, they have a decent explosive start. But then they lose momentum very, very quickly. It's like, you know how our number 1 complaint for Hondo is that lightning rate's a little too brief, and afterwards, like, we're not going anywhere. Kind of, sort of to a lesser extent for the home 1 here. And then we have our unique ability, Tactical Maneuver. At the start of battle, the allied capital ship is home 1, yet again. Gain 10% max health until the end of the battle. Then whenever B-Wing is damaged, you gain 25% Terminator and Retribution. Nice. Again, keep in mind, not going to work against Profundity, well, because you can't get Terminator. And then whenever Rebel B-Wing attacks at a turn, reduce all cooldowns on home 1, excluding the call reinforcements by 1. Yeah, what did I say? They're like pumping out these cooldown reductions. It's, you know, it kind of gives me a vibe of the old school Biggs Wedge, where they had tons of Terminator. They're getting to their abilities over and over again very quickly. Again, this is like ancient days, like 2016 Galaxy of Heroes, but it kind of is reminiscent of that. At least that's the way I'm feeling. And then whenever B-Wing gains Master Plan, all your allies are getting critical chance stacking for the rest of the encounter, so you don't really need to rely too much on the advantage. And whenever Master Plan expires, Rebel B-Wing gains Tactical Supremacy. They've been playing with that a little bit too this year. Tarkin, right? It used to be like a trench thing. Now it's a Tarkin thing. Now it's this thing. And then the reinforcements. Check this out. Stay on course. Grant Rebel allies advantage. Defense up for 1 turn. If the ally captures his home one, there are no deployed scoundrel allies. So again, get out of here, Millennium Falcon. Grant the home one a bonus turn, and their cooldowns are reset, excluding calling reinforced. So already at the top of the start of the battle, it's sort of, again, it seems like it's bringing some of the motto with the, like to some rebel teams, like Han Solo starts the battle right away, big explosive play. Kind of the same vibe that I'm getting of this. So it seems cool. I like this. It just kind of an odd time to bring it with the fleet meta being super narrow. And it's also being, loaded with very top tier ships. Not even just the big three, but like even Negotiator, those are still very solid fleets inside the meta. So it's kind of a problem with Grand Arena. You can keep pumping out teams and characters with only so much board. I'm leaving the Grand Arena with, Balin's left over. Sometimes Bane, Rivas. It's like, those are some top shelf teams. So I'm not sure if they have a plan to expand the fleet arena meta. Maybe they're gonna add a home ones, more ships down the road. Maybe a red 5. You guys let your imaginations go wild. Speaking of wild, it's wild that we already have Maracas accelerated. Dude, it felt like it was just yesterday, right? He just came out the other day. No, he's on the accelerated list here. Kicks is farmable on light side battles 1D, starting to make some of those pirates a bit more farmable for the present time. And a little funny anecdote about the Rogue One. For some reason, it had 1,000% potency and tenacity, even though it didn't really matter. it was there for some reason, so they fixed it. It doesn't change anything, but it was just really funny how I was like, that has to be a bug. Someone put one too many zeros in there, right? And speaking of this, Captain Drogon limited time additive drops. I'm assuming most of you guys have them. That's a good thing, because now you'll be able to get some goodies. So if you check it out over here, we have the bonus additive drop, whatever you want to call it, starting on October 7th through October 13th. So starting next week. So we got some time here. But it says to commence the arrival of the Rebel B-Wing, Captain Drogon is available for a limited time as additive drops in Cantina nodes. During this event, the drop rate on each node will be scaled to Cantina Energy. Strengthen your roster by earning his shards while unlocking his brand new starfighter. And if you already have Captain Drogon, you'll instead find valuable resources in these limited time drops, including ability materials Zetas, fragment signal data, or Mark 7 Pyrotex. Okay, I don't know if that means they're all gonna drop on the Cantina Energy, because you're farming Cantina Energy to get Drogon shards. I'm assuming that these are gonna be on other nodes, but if they're putting all of these on Cantina, massive, massive W. So if the data mines get more details on that, I will let you know. This could be a huge, huge event here. Speaking of huge, we have ourselves some interesting light speed tokens coming, which is starting to make more sense why they're gonna be important for the future of Relic Delta. They want to get people through a paid mechanism as close as possible to that new, I guess, era of this Relic Delta. Whenever they're planning it sometime after Khmer, as they say. But hey, we got some knights or stuff. Look at this. You can apply it to Mare and Detra, pretty cool. Even Morgan Elsbeth this time around. For whatever reason, we had a tank lightspeed token. You couldn't use on Morgan Elsbeth. What gives? Well, we have it here. Also pretty nifty. You can use it on Night Trooper. So pretty nice stuff here. This could be very helpful if you're trying to like speed run through some of the Ahsoka Galactic Legend requirements here. So anyways, that's all we got for today, my friends. Woo! I'm excited for Friday, my friends. Tomorrow I will be unveiling the last character reveal until we build up to a Friday. Can't wait again to show you guys how the sausage is made again. This is the early stages of making my game. It's been an honor and privilege to be able to afford this opportunity to do so, and to have you guys kind of, again, just like today, people talk about the mask. Oh, I love it, but you know what? I want to change. Can you change this? Or, all this stuff. That's how we shape an amazing game from the ground up. And thank you guys for that. And I appreciate all the feedback you guys are hopefully going to keep on giving moving forward here. So until we meet again, leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. This has been Donald Hollinet News, the only news you'll ever need, because you have no other choice.
Oh, it's great to be